So they are concerned as to why this happens. Birmingham lost a staff recently, in part because of insufficient adoptions from care. Now, statistics do matter, but they need to be done on a valid basis. Now, there's lots of little figures here. I've done it this way, not because I'm expecting you to be able to read this, I'm just testing to make sure if anyone's eyesight is up to it. But because you could get this as part of a package. The data is actually on the laptop up there. I emailed it to Roger earlier. It's very important information. This is from SSDA 903, one of the acronyms earlier there. Right? Now, SSDA 903 is very important for people interested in public family law because it tracks the episodes for children who are taken into care through various routes. We're not talking about Section 20. We're talking about PPOs, EPOs, ICOs and care orders. Right? Straightforward. This looks at, and it also, if we look at reason unknown, this looks at the children that came into care in 1995, and it looks at what happened to them and where they went. So all children came into care, 5,500. Reason for ceasing to be looked after, 3,600 unknown. Well, okay, so you can't do much from these figures from 1995, because too many were unknown. We can sort of look at it a little bit, but if you go to more recently, this again is SSDA 903, and it's the other, like children taken into care, 7,600, reason not stayed is only 540. I am really rather depressed at how often local authorities lose children. I have 4 children. I'd be quite surprised if I lost any as a corporate parent. You shouldn't lose children. You should know what's wrong. But the thing about it is that they do. Birmingham, one report we saw, I was on the Vulnerable Children's Scrutiny Committee of the City Council, which for those people who know scrutinises children's services, specialised services. We lost 61 kids. Not acceptable. But we still have to work with the stats we have and look at what happens. And one of the reasons I was banned from talking to the statisticians in what was the DEFES is because I'm a computer programmer. For years I've run computer businesses and things like that. I actually understood how the data was received by the department, that in fact you could find out the age when a child was taken into care, not just in the first year, but the first 7 days. And here we go. The reason for looking at this from 2004 to 2007 is often kids remain in care for 3 or 4 years. So you're not going to find out what happened. In fact, of the 7,600 children taken into care in 2004, 1,800 are actually still looked after at the age of 31st of March 2007. But most importantly, if you look at those taken into care in the first 7 days, all 580, basically only 90 went back to their parents. Now that's the past, all right? I have those figures for other years. Every so often I have an argument with the government and they say freedom of information, and you can only have this, and we ask for it again and we get a lot of stuff. And here we have another interesting statistic, which is of those children who were placed for adoption and then who ended up in care later on in the same authority. Now that's in the same authority. And you see here, again, because they produced the figures on the wrong basis, the figures tail off at the end, because if they're going to go back into care 2 or 3 years after they're adopted, then the figures are going to tail off, because we're looking here at the figures dated 2008. But here we have one aspect of the forced adoption process, which is once a child is adopted out of care, they don't necessarily stay adopted. And in fact, the NSPCC people told me the figures for disrupted adoptions for the older children are really very high indeed. Yet we still try to get forced adoptions through for 6- and 7-year-olds, which I find spectacularly bad. Most importantly on this is the last line, more research is needed. Where's the research on outcomes? Where is the research on outcomes? It's wrong. We are making the assumption that forced adoption is a good solution for children without research on outcomes. It's no good just selecting those children that remain adopted. You've got to take into account the process and the effect on the children that end up unadopted at a later stage. And those poor children are adopted, then unadopted, and then adopted again. It's not right. It's very wrong. But no research is done, more research is needed. Here we have Scotland. Is a